The rain had been falling since morning slow, quiet, almost shy. The kind of rain that makes people stay home, sip coffee, and text the ones they love. But for Noah, it only reminded him of her, the girl who used to love the rain more than anyone he'd ever met. He stood by the window, coffee cold in his hands, watching the city blur behind raindrops. It wasn't the rain outside that hurt. It was the storm inside him. Her name was Grace. He met her 3 years ago on a random Thursday in a tiny bookstore on Fifth Avenue. She was sitting on the floor, her hair messy, her hands flipping through a used poetry book. He'd dropped his phone by accident, and she laughed and awed at him. But at the way his clumsy fall scared a cat sleeping nearby, that laugh stayed with him. Out! It sounded like something safe, something he could fall into. They started talking about books, life, and coffee. Within weeks, she became the reason his mornings made sense. Grace had this way of turning ordinary days into stories. She painted rainbows in people's eyes just by being kind. But the thing about people who carry too much light is that sometimes they burn out quietly. Noah didn't notice it at first, the way her eyes began to wander when he talked, the way her laughter faded mid-sentence. She'd stare at nothing for minutes, then smile as if to cover the silence. He thought she was just tired, maybe stressed. But love can sometimes make you blind to the quiet cries. One evening, they were sitting on their rooftop, the sky heavy with clouds. She whispered, "Noah, do you ever feel like you're drowning even when there's no water?" We smiled and said, "Not when I have you." She smiled back, that same gentle smile that would break him years later, and said, "You can't save someone who doesn't want to swim." The next morning, she was gone. No note, no goodbye, not even a message. Her closet was half empty, her favorite mug still by the sink, lipstick stains frozen on the rim. He searched everywhere, called her friends, checked hospitals, even drove to her old town. Nothing. It was as if the rain had washed her away. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Noah kept her picture on the fridge like a prayer he didn't know how to stop saying. Every night, he'd fall asleep to the sound of rain, hoping somehow it would carry her voice back to him. But all he heard was silence, suffocating silence. One evening, he returned home from work to find a small envelope slipped under his door. The handwriting was Hurst's soft, curved, familiar. His hands trembled as he opened it. There were just a few lines. "Noah, I didn't leave because I stopped loving you. I left because I stopped loving myself. I couldn't bear to let you watch me fade. You gave me everything, but I was already breaking inside. I hope someday, when it rains, you'll remember me not as the girl who left, but as the one who once made you believe in forever." He sank to the floor, tears mixing with the rain tapping against the window. He read it over and over until the words blurred. She hadn't left him, as she'd left herself. Years passed. Noah moved to another city, got a new job, met new faces, but every time it rained, his heart grew quiet. He'd watch the drops slide down the glass, tracing patterns like the ones she used to draw on his hand. It wasn't grief anymore, not the sharp kind. It was softer now, like a bruise that never fully fades. One night he walked home through a sudden downpour. People ran for cover, but he didn't. He let the rain fall, soaking through his shirt, his hair, his soul. And in that moment, he understood the rain wasn't there to remind him of her absence. It was her way of saying she was still there. In the water, in the air, in the quiet corners of his memory. He whispered into the night, "I miss you, Grace." The rain answered softly, falling harder, almost like it was listening. And as he stood there, drenched and trembling, he smiled for the first time in years. Because for the first time, he didn't feel empty. He felt her. The rain inside him wasn't pain anymore, it was love finding a place to live. The storm outside slowly faded, and in its silence, Noah finally understood what she meant that night on the rooftop. You can save someone who doesn't want to swim, but you can learn to float in their memory. And sometimes when the rain falls, it isn't the sky crying, it's the heart remembering. If this story resonated with you, please share your thoughts in the comments. And if you're going through a tough time, remember, it's okay to seek help. There are people who want to listen. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories.